Hey guys, welcome to Cubing with Jagger. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to solve 4x4 parity. So on the 4x4, there are three different kinds of parities. There is when you have a one edge flipped case, these two edges can be swapped, or these two edges can be swapped. I'm going to be teaching you all three, so let's just get into the first one, the one edge swapped. So here's what the case looks like. You can see it's all solved on everything else. So before we get started with the algorithm, it's going to be using moves like this, where you just move the inner layer. And this, for instance, is a little r, or a lowercase r if it's written, or a lowercase r prime, or a lowercase r2. So that's just how it's written, but that just means move only the inner layer. So we're gonna get started with little r2, b2, u2, little l, u2, little r prime, u2, little r, u2, f2, little r, f2, little l prime, b2, little r2. So that is the first and arguably the hardest of these cases. I think that was the hardest one for me to learn, but you can see you start off with r2, b2, u2. You just kind of have to remember that. And then, you know how you can write a r prime, for instance, as ri for r inverted, which is how I learned this algorithm. So I just thought, okay, l, u2, ri. So that's Luri. I know it sounds dumb, but it's just how I learned. And then, like, you're insulting someone, calling them an r or an f, like you r, you f. And then the last part of it is refleber. R, F2, little l prime, B2, R2. And just thinking little things like that, it's really going to help you remember these algorithms. I know it helped me when I was learning, or if you just want to straight up remember them, that's also a great way to do it if you can. But let's move on to the second parity algorithm. So the second parity algorithm is when you have these two adjacent edges swapped. Before we get started with this algorithm, you need to know that an RW, for instance, is when you use the both right layers. It stands for R wide, or R prime wide, or R2 wide. It's all just that kind of thing, and it's just you use these two layers, or these two layers for L. So getting into the algorithm, R2, D prime, RW2, U2, F2, little r2, f2, u2, rw2, d, r2. And again, like the other one, I found a stupid way to remember this, so I'll show it to you now. I called it the Uferfu algorithm. The other one was the refleber algorithm. So I just remembered r2, d, and then you always just follow it with an rw2. Then here's where I always got confused. So I was like, okay, U2, F2, and then that's the oof, and then here's the R for and then you just reverse it with foo rather than oof, and then you go back to this, and then you just undo those moves you did before, and you're done. So that's just another dumb way I remembered it, and so now we can move on to the last one. Okay, this is the last parity case where you have these two opposite edges swapped. And so the algorithm for this is going to be little r2, u2, little r2, uw2, little r2, and then this is going to be either little u2 or uw2, u2, whatever is easiest for you. So now we have to find a way to remember that. So here's what I came up with. So there's lots of R's and U's, so I just kind of found what it sounded like and went with it. So roo, ooh. And it's just like roo. Doesn't really make any sense, but I just remember you start with 1, you go to 2, you go back to 1, and then you just finish it off with a uw2. So again, roo with 1, roo with 2, roo with 1, uw2. And so that is all of the algorithms for the 4x4 parity. And then you can apply it to bigger cubes, for instance, like this 5x5. And you've seen the parity where you have this edge flipped, this edge correct and this edge flipped. Looks like this. So you can solve that just the same way you did a parity 1 on the 4x4. And also, you always just use the 2 incorrect edges, or if you were doing it on a, for say, 9x9, which I'll show you up next, all of the ones that are incorrect. So you use these 2 since they are the incorrect edges, and those are the layers that you use to do your algorithm. And this can be kind of confusing at first, but if you just really think into how it's like working, it'll start to make sense eventually. And then obviously, since this is an odd layered puzzle, like, you can't have the Uberfu algorithm. It doesn't work. You can see it like also switches these 2 edges, which it doesn't work. And so that's a good thing though, since no one wants to have to deal with more parity. And so I will just finish solving this. And now, like I was saying, on this 9x9, you can have a case where you have multiple edges on the right or left side flipped, like this. So here it is. It looks like an absolute mess, but if you just isolate one side, it's just the 2 pieces that need to be flipped, but you can just treat them as one piece, so you can do them all at the same time. So like, we start off our algorithm with a little r2, so you can just use both of these at the same time, and it'll still work, like this. And then you just continue with the algorithm, and once you reach the end of parity, you will have solved it. I know parity can be very confusing to learn. I know it was for me, and you just gotta take some time and just find some way to remember the algorithms. It doesn't matter as long as you can remember them well, and soon enough, you'll just have them in muscle memory. Like, I don't think of like Luri, UR, UF, or Fleaver. I just kind of know what to do with my hands since I've done it enough. And that'll come with time. And yeah, so I hope this tutorial helped you guys. I know parity can be a frustrating thing to learn, but you just gotta tough through it. Yeah, so that's about it. And please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you enjoyed or learned something, or just thought the video was entertaining, or anything like that. Anyway, don't twist me corners while I'm away. Bye!